All right, let's try for round two or three or four, or whatever we're up to, in case it was something on my end. If anybody wants to stick around, thank you for sticking around. If you didn't stick around, that's cool too. Uh, let's try again. Said it was working. All right, we'll try it
All right,
again.
try it again. Let's see.
Yeah, if I figured, you know what, I'll just kill it on my end, restart, and if it doesn't work this time, then we'll figure something else
Yeah, I
out.
don't know. Didn't have a problem the other time.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Where were we?
Um, yeah, which time?
Oh,
I think we were at coming up with ideas for all the different flexies, especially that you do, or even the full 12-inch things. And do you like when bands come to you with ideas, or have
oh
they
yeah.
mostly been cool about if you have a different idea than they do about like kicking them in a different direction?
Yeah, it's rare that we're working with people who we're not like on a very friend-like basis with. So it's always a very open conversation, and it's pretty natural. Usually, either the bands have a very strong opinion about wanting to do something specific, or they just want something cool. And if it means like an idea I propose getting spun back with other ideas that they have, that works even better. A lot of times I'm just proposing something vaguely and it melds into a conversation that everybody can take ownership of, or a product that everybody can take ownership of. So.
Has there ever been a project that somebody came to you with and you're like, yeah, I don't know if we can pull that off? Or like theoretically we can pull that off, but maybe not right now. Maybe we're not there yet.
Uh, there's not. I mean, I can't think of anything specifically. People try have like moonshot ideas with vinyl that we don't want to try and get involved with. Like, technically you could put cow's blood in a record, but why do we want to bother? You know what I mean?
Why? Yeah, right,
Yeah, like
right.
silly stuff like that. Razor blades pressed into a record or whatever else. But for the most part, we try and accommodate the good ideas. And we try and even propose good ideas for bands that otherwise might not even think about it.
Is that stuff just for? I mean, do you work most closely with the bands that are on Pirates Press, or because what about if somebody from a major label said, we want to do a bunch of Taylor Swift flexies? What do you have for ideas? Do you wait for them to give you ideas, or do you come up with them too?
A majority of our projects that we manufacture for other customers come in the door, for lack of a better word, ready to go. Artwork and music is kind of designed already. But we do have people who hit us up ahead of time for ideas or to try and kind of gauge what the next trend of things are. Like, people know we've got, our fingers on the pulse, so to speak, and like know what is getting popular on the independent scene. Like, what's cool with like the real rock and rollers that they can then co-opt and turn into a major label thing. Like sometimes we play a role in that, and that's fun. Some of it matters more than other projects, but ultimately we take a lot of pride in the products we're making, regardless of whether it's for a punk band or for Taylor Swift. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. Yeah, we're still.
Yeah, I was gonna say when you say some of it matters, you mean matters more to you, like personally,
Yeah,
rather than.
yeah. But we put the same care into it. Like, regardless, we take great pride in what we do. And if we can think of a better way to do something, we usually suggest it. If some artwork comes in and something's ordered on standard semi-gloss stock, and we're thinking this was a painting, you should do this on uncoated stock. It'll feel like a painting when people hold it. Like, we're the first people to make those suggestions so that people are really getting the benefit of working with us, and our expertise about the actual products and stuff, and being able to apply that to the art and the other things that bands have going on.
Has the shutdown affected your ability to actually print vinyl right now,
No,
or to press vinyl rather?
thankfully not. The staffing has been a challenge, obviously, with so many people having to take care of kids. Um, there's a lot of women specifically in our pressing department, and the Czech Republic, has been really supportive, but at the same time, that also puts a big burden on us to keep up with the volume. Luckily, we had a lot of stuff in the works already by the time things got kind of shut down. So even though we weren't getting a lot of new orders for a while, we had plenty to work on. So we stretched that out a bit, knowing that we had less staff than normal. And it kind of got us through 2 months pretty scot-free, for lack of a better word. And now,
Yeah.
now we're at a point where we're starting to see that business coming back. People are starting to see pathways towards releasing a record, or if nothing else, getting it made so that they can spend all their time on the promo side of it, you know, knowing that like they're going to have to spend more time doing that, and it's not going to be as easy of a sell without that tour that's going to be going on, things like that.
Yeah.
It's all
Has
over
the way that has the way that because in the middle, like after the shutdown, Record Store Day changed when Record Store Day is essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're doing a bunch of Record Store Day releases, but spread out over a handful of months. Did that change things on the operation side? I was curious about that.
It did to a certain extent, although this all happened so close to Record Store Day that a majority of stuff for Record Store Day was either in production or real close to being in production. So, you know, there's a lot of product for Record Store Day that's made and sitting in distros or on its way to distros and stuff like that. And they're just going to time it so that it makes the most sense and that those records do as well as they can be, all things considered. I mean, record stores are not going to be the same dynamic that they were as the social gathering point on a record store.
Right.
They're filled with people. Like, that just can't happen. You know what I mean? So it's going to play a different role. And I'm sure that having more than one of them will allow them to adjust the second and third ones to make the most of it, really, you know?
Yeah, it's tough to even find a place that's open, at least in this part of the country. I don't know if everybody has shut down the same way. Places haven't. But you can't even find a place to do curbside pickup until just recently. The Bull Moose music chain, which is like southern New Hampshire and into southern Maine, they started doing curbside pickup. So at least you could order something, go to the record store. It's not the same as going to the record store, but at least you can drive there and pick something up.
Yeah.
But that is not the norm by any stretch of the imagination.
Record Store Day is it's supposed to be about supporting record stores and independent music, hopefully, as well. And both of those things can still happen in a socially distanced way, you know, and that's all we can do. You know, same with shows being online. We just got to roll with the punches.
Same with shows being in parking lots. Like there's the venue down the street from where Dropkicks filmed their live stream thing, Tupelo Music Hall. They've announced plans to just have, like, they'll have a small stage set up by the venue, and people just drive in and park. And basically, you buy a ticket for a parking spot, and you park, and it's sort of an angled lot, and you just watch from your car. And I feel like that's cool, but then I also feel like, do I want to watch that? Do I want to do that from my car? You know?
I mean, there's an element of me that's just patient enough to wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not sacrifice the parts of those things that I love, you know what I mean? And just wait and focus my time and attention on things that don't have to be sacrificed right now. Like, I don't have to watch Korean baseball. I can play catch with my kid in the yard, you know?
Yeah, right. Fair enough. Have bands come to you with support about how to do live streaming stuff since you started, putting Rock the Sofa together, and since you're sort of like a go-to for a lot of people for a lot of things? Have bands come to you about, like, how can we do this? How can we play? How can we practice? How can we put Instagram shows on together?
Yeah, I'm brainstorming with all kinds of different people for different reasons. Like, some people are way more equipped than others and have way more resources than others and a motivation to do it. And other people are more of the mindset of waiting it out as well. You know what I mean? And it's really all over the map, and we're just there trying to be flexible and provide whatever information we can be. You know, there's folks on our team that are way internet savvy and way tech savvy, and then there's other people who are better as just a sounding board for ideas and for, is this going to be cool? Are people going to engage? And like, it's nice to have a variety of those kind of people around and able to kind of work together to figure out the ways to do this well, and to be able to give enough feedback, even internally, to have enough people that can give a wide array of feedback, to be able to keep evolving and doing it the right way. Because as I said, things are going to change massively, and we got to stay ahead of the curve, kind of, you know.
In my opinion, not just blowing smoke up your ass, but I think that that's been kind of a thing for Pirates Press anyway, is trying to stay ahead of the curve and trying to push the needle a little bit forward and a little bit forward and come up with cool things, whether it's vinyl or doing a punk rock show on a battleship, man.
Yeah, I mean, aircraft carrier, but anyway.
Sorry, my fault. Semantic.
No, I mean, anything
Tomato.
worth overdoing, or anything worth doing is worth doing right, or whatever, you know, cliche you want to use. But like at the end of the day, we're proud of what we do, and who doesn't want to do it the best way you could possibly do it? You know, live your best life. Yeah.
I don't think we've talked since the aircraft carrier show, but how was that? Because it looked awesome from here, and it's one of those things I always wish I could go out to, and I never have, and it just looks so damn cool.
Yeah, I'm still pinching myself that it was like half a year away. Like it's the thing that can change in a short period of time, you know. But
right,
yeah, it was crazy and weird, and the most socially distanced show I ever wanted to go to. But I know that's going to change. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right. Right.
It was eye-opening for a lot of people. It was really fun, and at the end of the day, it really symbolized who we are as a company. The way that everybody got together and had such a good time. The atmosphere was so positive the whole time. It was a all hands on deck. Let's like do this and do it in style kind of moment, and it was really cool.
How big event? I mean, I know it's an aircraft carrier, but conceptually, if you haven't been to a show on an aircraft carrier, I can't really picture what that looks like. You know what I mean? So how big is the actual venue where you're watching bands play?
It was massive.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like a football field, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, bigger than a football field, but like proper outdoor festival stage, you know, plenty of.
I think we're doing the audio thing again, maybe. Can you hear me? Damn it. Yeah, no. What the fuck? That's a weird problem. We get to like 10 minutes and then nothing. Yeah, no. No. No, can anybody hear me? No. Yes, hopefully. All right. Well, it's almost 8 o'clock. I don't know if we'll try to do that again. Thank you. I know we had like 15 solid minutes there where I could hear him and it was good. Sorry about that if you are hanging in there with our technical difficulties. I don't get it, but live TV, baby. Skippy's using a Motorola flip phone. That's, I don't know. Yeah. So if he comes back in, he comes back in and we'll wait till 8 o'clock. If you're going to bail from this, if you go over to the Fest Instagram thing, Skippy's, yeah, we'll call it off. So if you go over to the Fest Instagram thing, if you watched us last week, I had Sal and Daniel from Rebuilder on. They're going to do a thing 8:15 Eastern over on the Fest Instagram page. So that's where I'll be. You should go check them out. It'll be fun. I know there's a lot of other bands doing things through festing from their couches and their rehearsal spaces and stuff like that. So go check out the Fest Florida and yeah, go see Rebuilder at 8:15 Eastern, which is like 20 minutes from now. Thank you all for dealing with us. We've got Derek from the Homeless Gospel Choir coming up on Monday of next week, and one of my favorite musicians, Brian Venable from the Mighty Lucero, next Tuesday at 7 o'clock. Hopefully we will work out these technical difficulties. Bye.